Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Erie. A fresh 12 on the clock. Erie with the football at Fort Morgan's 28-yard line. We are still scoreless here. Anderson fakes the toss, and they will hand the ball off on the counter play. And his man will run through the middle of the line on the deceptive play there, down to the 15-yard line. Colton Brink on the carry.
On that play, all the motion went to the right. They had the pitch man to the right, quarterback moved to the right, and then handed back on a cross buck. Nice, well-conceived play.
The 13-yard pickup there by Brink is now Anderson again under center. He will turn and hand the ball to Atkins, who's got a lane down through the right side, and he will walk into the end zone. Nobody picks up who had the football there for Fort Morgan as Ryan Atkins does find his way to the end zone.
That's the problem with trying to defend against this offense, is if you don't tackle every one of their running backs, they're going to get it to the guy who's not being tackled.
And for Atkins, his first touchdown on the season, and all those rushing yards, that's his first touchdown of the season. He came into the game with 248 yards on 33 carries. We'll see Erie attempt the PAT here as it is low and it is blocked. So it's only 6-0 here. 11:34 remaining in the second quarter. You're listening to Fort Morgan Football on B106 and B106.com. Mustang Football brought to you by Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for products around your home, office, or yard. Ackley Building Center, located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush. We're back here at Tiger Stadium, where Ryan Atkins for the Erie Tigers has put Erie on the board, 6-0. The PAT, no good as it was blocked by Fort Morgan. Joe Ray, the kickoff specialist for Erie, as they are huddled tight, he will walk up to the football and put it on the tee. The rest of the team will spread out, and he will take his steps backwards. 11:34 showing on the clock. The teams have switched ends as it is the second quarter. Erie will be kicking off from the south to the north, the right to the left on your radio dial. Again, a short kickoff and another fair catch called for, and that time not handled by Armando Lopez. It did go out of bounds, fortunately for Fort Morgan. Erie wasn't able to recover it, and that will be spotted at the 32-yard line, where Fort Morgan will take over the ball, 1st and 10.
Lucky for Fort Morgan that he was right on the sideline and it bounced off his chest and right out of bounds.
That has to be tough for Armando Lopez as he's signaling for the fair catch. The ball is kind of scooting away from him, flying away from him in the air, as it's not a very high kick. In fact, Rainey doesn't have a single touchback on the year. Martins will go under center. He brings a man in motion, and that is Fitzsimmons who receives the toss. Going to the left side. He will be tackled there for a loss.
Tough yardage on that one. Erie read the play and had 3 defenders to meet him a couple yards deep in the backfield.
So Fitzsimmons going the wrong direction. That brings up a 2nd and 12 on the 30-yard line. Fort Morgan looking to build on what was a great first drive. 13 plays, all of them run plays, but they turned the ball over on downs. Deep in Erie territory. Martins again turns hands to Alexander, who goes off the left side this time. He's met there by a couple Erie tacklers, and he drags them along towards the Fort Morgan sideline, and he will be down at the 35-yard line. That'll be a 3rd and 8.
It's good to get it back to a manageable distance for a 3rd down.
Check that, a 3rd and 7 for Fort Morgan. Martins again will go into the huddle. The air is starting to get a little bit colder as the sun has completely gone down. A great view behind us here, Kevin, but a great view in front of us as well as Martins has the ball under center. 3 men in the backfield. He will turn, fake the handoff. He's got a man downfield looking for the pass. That's Jacob Frick, who really does a good job knocking the ball away from the defender for Erie. He was double covered. Rafael Betrez and Christian Mickey on the coverage.
Not what the Mustangs needed, another 3 and out. Now they're going to have to punt and try and solve that Erie offense.
That'll bring up a 4th and 7 play. There was no game there. 6-0 to score here, and Erie elects to go for it from their own 35-yard line. 3 men in the backfield. Martin's under center, 2 tight ends. He will turn and pitch, and what a play there as Miranda does punt the football. He was in as a fullback. He punts the football from the pitch. Creative play there by Harrison Chisholm. Catching everybody off guard. The ball goes out at the 33-yard line, and Erie will take over there.
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd do something, some sort of quick kick like that. So I couldn't imagine them in a tight formation and trying to run for 7 yards against a tough Erie defense.
So Erie will have the football on their own 33, 1st and 10 on the far hash. 3 men in the backfield, a little different look as it's a power I formation. Pedro Anderson will turn and toss the ball to one of his 3 options that he had back there. I believe it was Atkins on the carry. Check that, Joe Ramey on the carry. He picks up 2, and it's 2nd and 8.
You know, if one of these kids' dad is the statistician, he might get a few yards credited to someone else.
And it's tough to tell on these uniforms. Those dark uniforms, the orange, not really popping off of it like you think it would, and with them all close like that. This time Atkins does get the football as he comes around from the left side through the right side. He will only gain a few yards there, and it will bring up a 3rd and 7.
Great defensive play there. They stuffed up the middle, and there was no room to run.
Actually, they'll give him 2, and it'll be a 3rd and 6 for Erie. The ball will be spotted at the 37-yard line of Erie territory. This time, Anderson has a man spread wide right, 3 men in the backfield, brings one in motion, has to fake a trap play, and this time Fort Morgan all over it as about 6 Mustang tacklers get the ball carrier, and that will be no gain.
Sometimes a coach will go to the cookie jar one too many times, and that was that play where all the motion was coming left, and the crossbuck comes back to the right, and Morgan was there with 3 kids to meet him.
Disciplined defense that time by Fort Morgan as they all stayed home and were able to bring down Atkins for no gain. It looks like Erie will go again for it here on 4th down. This time Fort Morgan does have the proper personnel in. 3 men in the backfield. Ramey goes in motion. Check that Atkins goes in motion, then stops, and Anderson will take the timeout for Erie. So probably trying to draw the false start or the offside play there was Anderson, and we'll see what Erie will do. We'll take a timeout. 7:57 showing on the clock here. 6-0 Erie over Fort Morgan in the 2nd quarter. You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com. Mustang Football brought to you by Buildings by Design. The most important thing to buying a new building or starting a new design build project is picking the right company to build it. Call Pat Walter, Travis Lefevre, or Jared Samples for your free bid. 970-842-5837. Or visit them online at buildingsbydesign.com. Welcome back to Erie. I'm Alex Egan, joined by Kevin Rohde. Erie again faced with a 4th down. They come out after showing they were going to go for it. They will come out with the punt unit here. A little bit of a high snap, and it's blocked by Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan will scoop the football there, and he will be down to the 10-yard line. Not sure who got a hand on it for Fort Morgan, but Caleb Sills with the recovery, and he puts it down to the 10-yard line of Erie territory. A big play there, as Fort Morgan only has 10 yards before they can find the end zone.
That could switch this momentum back Fort Morgan's way. They've had a couple 3 and outs. Now let's punch it in on an easy 10-yard drive.
So a very short field for Fort Morgan with 7:50 on the clock, and they're looking to tie up this football game at 6. 1st and 10, Martin's under center. He'll turn and hand it to Nate Alexander, who goes off the left side. He's got a little bit of space, but he's met by a few Erie tacklers. He'll force his way down to about the 2-yard line, and it'll be 2nd and goal there from the 2.
Anderson's just running tough tonight. He was met early, and he carried some defenders with him. Made a nice little gain, 2nd and 2.
Alexander did have the carry there, and we'll see what the stoppage of the timepiece is here. The referees convening, making sure that they have the right spot. Looks like one of them is talking to one of the Erie defenders. Possibly an equipment problem. So when they get this figured out, it'll be 2nd and 2, 2nd and goal from the 2. After Alexander had the 8-yard gain last play to put them in this position. All of this coming off of a blocked punt. Again, Martinsville turns and Alexander goes off the left side and into the end zone. That ends up the game at 6 apiece. Nate Alexander with the touchdown. He had one last week in the second half. He'll add one here this week in the first half. With 7:07 on the clock, Fort Morgan will attempt the PAT. Jacob Frick with Martins to hold to take the lead. So 2 special team miscues have hurt Erie as Frick puts the ball up and through a blocked PAT and a blocked punt, while Fort Morgan is good on their PAT try, and it is 7-6 with 7:07 remaining here in the second quarter. You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Tiger Stadium in Erie, Colorado, as Fort Morgan goes up 7-6 on the 2-yard touchdown run by Nate Alexander. Jacob Frick will tee the ball up at the 40 from left to right, straight on. Two Tigers deep to receive, and Frick sends a good one. High and over and down to the 5-yard line where Erie will field it there. The return comes back to this near side after fielding it on the far side, and he'll get to the sideline at the 25-yard line. It looks like where the referee was spotted. Credit Colton Brink on the return. A 20-yard return there.
Erie was setting up the wall along the left side. Just 1 or 2 Morgan kids broke through that wall and kept it from being a big return.
It'll be 1st and down after Fort Morgan's defense forced a 3-and-out on Erie's last possession. Anderson has a man in motion, one spread wide. He'll keep it himself after he fakes the toss and go off the right side of the line. Miranda misses the tackle, and he's across the 30 as Anderson misses the tackle again. He crosses the 35 and will finally be brought down at about the 36-yard line. That should be good enough for a 1st down.
He's a shifty little runner, and if you don't wrap him up first time you hit him, he's going to keep going.
Miranda really had a good shot at him, but was just out of reach. And he couldn't call in Anderson, who broke away off the right side after faking the football to Atkins. This time, Dudley will be spread to our near side, the ball on the far hash. Again, a man in motion. He will get the pitch, does the man in motion, and Fort Morgan is equal to the task, stopping the man at the line of scrimmage. Joe Rainey on the carry.
Seems like Fort Morgan has the answer for a lot of these plays, and then all of a sudden an Erie running back will just come out of nowhere and get a big gain.
It will be 2nd and 10. The ball is on Erie's 36-yard line. Jose Zavala giving credit for that tackle, along with a few other Fort Morgan players who were there. Same formation for Erie. They'll fake and use the trap play as the ball goes to Rainey, who comes through the left side of the line. He'll pick up 5, and it'll be a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, he comes from the right, I guess you call him a wingback, and comes around and dives back up in there.
So 3rd down and a long 5, or a short 6, depending on how you want to look at it, for Erie here, as the ball is spotted just outside the 40-yard line of their own territory. Again, the counter play, and this time Anderson keeps it himself, looking for the man downfield. He It's out a Fort Morgan tackler as he goes off the right side and is able to cross midfield, get down to the 48-yard line, and pick up the first down.
As he came around, there was a Fort Morgan defender had the choice of covering the receiver downfield or coming up on the quarterback. He made the right choice, because if he would have come up, he would have tossed right over the top for a touchdown.
Normally you want to attack a player who has the football because the player without the football can't hurt you, but in that case, a good job by the defensive back for Fort Morgan as he's able to limit what that play goes for. This time, Atkins gets the ball off the right side, running hard. He'll pick up 4 yards, and it'll be a 2nd and 6. Armando Lopez credited with the tackle.
Erie's trying to pick up the pace a little bit, get up the line of scrimmage, and get after it.
4:15 and counting on the clock as Erie's looking to answer what Fort Morgan just did with the block punt and the Alexander touchdown to put themselves up 7-6. Erie now with the football at the 45-yard line of Fort Morgan territory. Like it's a man in motion. Anderson will fake the pitch rather, and great coverage there by Fort Morgan as Anderson looks down the field for the pass. Fitzsimmons with the coverage. Check that. Cody Davis with the coverage. Taylor Dudley, the intended receiver, but
yeah, if that ball would have been thrown a little bit shorter, like in the pro game, the receiver would have come back and probably would have had an interference play, but it was just perfectly played by Fort Morgan.
Cody Davis really did never turn and locate the football, but the way that he was playing against Dudley really didn't warrant the flag there, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 6. So we see a pass attempt from Erie, just their 4th of the season. Again, Anderson will turn and hand the ball. No, and again, he will pass the football, but he will not be able to reach up with his intended target, Colton Brady. Anderson showing good arm strength on that play as he overthrows his receiver from a minimal drop.
And collectively, the two quarterbacks are 0 for 4. On a beautiful passing night.
There's really no wind to speak of, just a light breeze. So that'll bring up the 4th and 6th play, and Erie will be forced to punt. Taylor Dudley in to kick, and he gets away a boomer. A fair catch called for at the 3-yard line by Nate Alexander. Not a very wise play there, as he should have planted his heels at the 10 and not moved, but he goes and fields the football. Check that. Yuli Hernandez on the fair catch. And that will leave 97 yards between Fort Morgan and the end zone with 3:42 on the clock, but they do have the lead, 7-6.
Yeah, it's one of the hard things for a kid to learn, when to let the ball go over his head and when to call a fair catch. Try to coach him to stand on the 10, and if you have to go back, let it go.
Let it go over your head. That's generally the coaching point. 2 wide receivers for Martins, who's under center, 2 men in the backfield. As he'll get set to work here with just under 4 minutes remaining in the quarter. So he will keep the ball himself. It looked like a broken play as he had the option going, but couldn't decide if he wanted to hand it off to his fullback, Jared Bohm, or keep it himself. He kept the ball himself for no gain. It looks like it'll be 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10. For Fort Morgan.
The clock will run, 3:16 and counting now, here in the first half. Fort Morgan football is brought to you by Morgan Federal Bank, your one-stop shop for all of your banking and investment needs, from checking to savings to IRAs. 321 Inside Street, Morgan Federal Bank. There's a difference. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Martins again will keep the football, and he will have minimal territory to move forward a yard there, as it will be a 3rd and 9. The ball at the 5-yard line. Check it, a 3rd and 8. 2 yards that time on the run play. .230 now shows on the clock, and it is moving. I think Fort Morgan will be content to go into the break here with the 7-6 lead. Martins under center, 2 men in the backfield, 1 man spread each direction. Martinsville keeping himself, looking to pass. No, he's going to keep it himself, and he's got the 15-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down, and where they spot him, it is.
That was great effort there. They had him kind of corralled back in the backfield, and he dodged a few and had a nice run of 10 yards.
So Martin's, the Erie defense, having to respect the fact that he can throw the football. He elects to keep it himself and use his legs to get the first down. Any way you can get it, you will take it. 2 men in the backfield, 1-man spread each direction. Again, the hand off to the fullback, Jared Bohm, who's got room to run off the right side. And he will advance to the 27-yard line. That will be good enough for a first down.
Good running by the sophomore Bohm.
Bohm coming into the game, 7 rushes for 16 yards. He does have a touchdown. We'll see a flag on the play as Martin's trying to get a quick snap going with the clock moving here. Might have been just a little too quick. It is a dead ball procedure foul against Fort Morgan. Illegal procedure foul.
Not sure with a minute 37 whether Fort Morgan's trying to get it down and score or just run out the clock. Starting at their 3-yard line, they're just happy that they didn't have to give the ball back to Erie, I think.
So it'll be a 1st and 15. Ball spotted at the 22-yard line near hash. 1:29 and counting. Morgan up 7-6 over Erie. Martins will keep the ball himself. He looks to pass. He's got a man, but he will overthrow his intended target, Jared Bohm. Check that. Chris Pineda, the intended target. But Martins can't seem to connect on his pass plays.
I think he did the safe thing there and overthrew it out of bounds. The defender was closing quickly.
So we've yet to see a completed pass here in this first half, but we have 2 touchdowns up on the board. 1 for each squad. The difference being the blocked PAT by Erie. Martins under center, 2 men in the backfield. Erie shows blitz. Martins will keep it himself and go left. He will get across the 25 to the 26-yard line, get back to the original line of scrimmage, and that should bring up a 3rd and 10. 26-yard line. 4 yards to the pickup. It'll be 3rd down and 11. Check that 3rd and 11 as there was only a gain of 4 yards. Erie elects to take a timeout with a minute 8. Try to preserve as much time as possible here in this first half if they get the football back. We'll keep it here.
You were also one of those who got a T-shirt.
A big 3rd down play coming up for Fort Morgan as they really, if they get this first down, they can run out the rest of the clock, or depending on how many yards they get, Kevin, they can take a shot at the end zone. But I think Fort Morgan would be content to just run out the clock and take that momentum that they have go into the locker room.
I think at this point, Erie's probably wishing they had that timeout back earlier when they lined up not the punt formation and then had to call a timeout because Fort Morgan didn't jump. You know, you don't know when those timeouts are going to come back and bite you, but with a minute left and possibly getting the ball with just under a minute at your own 40, you know.
Erie does have just 1 timeout remaining. Morgan will spread the field with 4 wide, 3 to the near side, 1 man in the backfield. Martin's under center. He will get the snap, and he's looking to pass. As he rolls right, he's got a man open, and Jacob Frick down the field. I don't think Martin saw him. Martins will get sworn under by a king of Erie tacklers. Boy, he had Frick wide open down the seam route. He wasn't able to locate him, and Erie will call a timeout, as that brings up a 4th and 10.
Yeah, he got back up to the line of scrimmage on that one.
So that'll go down as a run, even though Martins was looking to pass. Erie takes their final time out of the half. They are down by 1, 7-6 to Fort Morgan. We'll take this opportunity. Fort Morgan football is brought to you by Central Auto Parts. For all of your auto supply needs, stop by Central Auto Parts at West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. 55.8 showing on the clock here, remaining in the first half, a 4th and 11 play for Fort Morgan. Miranda back to kick. He will be filling in. He is filling in for Zwedzig this week, who was injured in the JV game. 2 men deep for Erie. Miranda gets off a low kick, and it's fielded at the 35 by Colton Bring for Erie. He returns it to the right side. He will get across the 50 to the 49. So a great return of about 15 yards. 16 yards there is what they'll give it to him. And Erie only needs to travel 48 yards to the end zone with 43 seconds left on the clock.
They've used all their timeouts, so they're going to have to do it without the benefit of stopping the clock.
First and 10, Anderson fakes it, keeps it for himself, goes through the middle of the line, and he will be met there by several Fort Morgan tacklers. He'll pick up about 2 yards, and it'll be a second down play.
When you're a running team, you can't stop the clock. It's going to run out on them.
2nd and 8 as Atkins gets the ball. Check that. Rainey gets the ball off the left side. He will dive forward. No timeouts. As Erie looks to try and hurry up their offense, it's going to be a 2nd and 4. Check that, 3rd and 4. Erie will get another snap off before the expiration of the clock. Rainey again with the ball. He'll go left side, and he'll be tackled inbounds. Check that, out of bounds. Inbounds for the first down, which will stop the clock at the 35-yard line. As soon as the ball is spotted, the clock will start, and there's 1 second left on the clock here. We'll see if Erie can get the snap off before the clock runs out. They are already in formation, and they do get the play off, but a lot of Fort Morgan players not sure about that. A run play there for Erie. Taylor Dudley with the carry. He gains about a yard, and that is it. That will bring the first half to a conclusion. Erie 6, Fort Morgan 7. You're listening to Fort Morgan Football on B106 and B106.com.